Hello. I oftentimes harp on the movable chords, and that's a very important thing. The first mistake people make is assuming that when they learn chords, they just learn a shape. Well, that's a very mechanical, I would say even stupid approach to learning chords. When you learn a chord and you are a beginner, you see this shape, you would probably recognize the G shape. Okay, the first thing you got to know is where is the root of the chord? Is here. Is there any other string where you have the root chord? Yes, it's the second string. Okay, so the chord is G, B, D. In order to make it movable, you either have to mimic the nut like this. In this case, okay, this is a G. You should go over to, if this is G, this is a G sharp or E flat, and this is the same chord shape. But in this case, you always have the bass on the first string. On the lower string, in this case is a low G. But the other chord shape is this. This is much more usable. Why? Because it's easier to fret than this. Maybe because I never used this, but this is quite awkward. It's easier to fret and it's easier to move. The difference is that in this case you have on the first string what the third. So I would say I oftentimes use the other chord shape because this would be a very good chord shape for the beginning or for the ending of a song, where you have the bass on the bass string. But that would be good if you have a low G. So every time, so you can even use this G shape like this with a barre and this. So what would you do? First of all, F sharp, G, G sharp or A flat, A. What is the thing you do? You get two birds with a stone. I was thinking in Greek for some reason. Δύο σπουργίδια με ένα σμπάρο. Due piccioni con una fava. Okay, too many languages. You not only learn the chord and you move it up the neck, but you you learn the fretboard. So in this case, what is the string you have to take into account? You have to take in account the string where the root of the chord is, which is the second string. So this is F sharp, this is G. So the first thing you have to do when you learn this movable chord is immediately locate the string where you play the chord. This is G, and move it. For every chord shape, for example, this is F, okay? Actually, now that I think of it, even F, even F is the G shape with the on the third, because you have the A. So F, F sharp or G flat, G. So the chord shape we will see like this for the A is the same you use for the F, and the chord shape that we use for the G is quite more complicated. So you have basically two variations of the same chord shape. One, you have the third on the four string, and the other you have the root of the fourth string. I would advise using the more complicated one for the ending, okay? So we learned two chord shapes. The other chord shape is the one used for what? Basically, is the same chord shape, very similar to the G chord shape or the F chord shape. But in the F chord shape it doesn't look movable, but the F sharp and the G, it's movable. But I move the middle finger on the third string. So I move from G to what? C. Sorry, C, B. I was thinking in Italian. C is Do. To B. Okay, so this is C. G. C, B, B flat, A. That's A that we use. So we see that in this case you have the root of the chord where on the fourth string is, so actually this is A. So we can have two chord shapes very different. Sorry. This is A. But I can play also like this A. Okay, and I can have A like this. So actually in this case uh, everything is on up, and here everything is down. So two very different chord shapes to a completely different chord shape. A, B flat, E, and C. In this case, the root of the chord is on the first string. So we saw that we can play A like this, okay? And the root of the chord is on the second string, or like this. What is the difference? The first is the stock um, chord that you learn when you learn the ukulele, and you haven't been told actually it's this, and it's the same as B flat and C, and the root of the chord is A on the first. I move one and I will do like this, and this is A. So what is the difference between playing this A and this A? This I can not only release the tension in string and getting this jazz feeling, but as a secondary effect, all the chord is like this. This is more resonant, but it's not manageable. I mean, once you hit it, it rings and it rings and it rings. And the other one, it's a little bit more up the neck. Okay? One thing you can do if you master not only the chord the moving from one chord shape and the other chord shapes, a good exercise is learning all the chord shapes and getting the same chord in different chord shapes. Is a very good exercise. Is when you play a song, decide which of the chord shapes you're going to use, and you can even that's used for the banjo, jazz banjo playing, of moving from one chord shape to the other chord shape, and even generate a melody. But that's a complicated thing that I don't master, but it's just something you can do in time, that a little bit early times for this kind of advanced thing. So we see, and the C shape, okay, that's the C shape, and this is the C sharp, and this is the D, and this is E. But we know that E can be like this. So every time we get this, we have two options. Either 3 fret downwards or 1. Obviously this case is a little bit sharper. There's one string that is higher. It rings more. It's like, you know. Okay, always this. This is supposed to be this is supposed to be E. Sorry, I was using this. This is E flat, this is E. And the root of the chord is here with the little finger. If I play here, the root of the chord is on the third string. Here you have the root of the chord on the this and this. So actually these two strings is the same. So you discover a lot of things. You can even have a solo where you solo on the first and the third string, and the difference is two frets. What is the other chord shape we know? The E. There's one for the E that nobody uses. Is Mi. Yes, E, which is Mi in Italian. G sharp, E, and E. That's not movable at all. Okay, we have the A, B, the F, the F sharp, which is this. I could use like this, but this barré is much more handy like this. Some people play like this, like the G and they add here, or you can use like this. I find this handier. So the idea is being creative, and I will use this thing, and you do that for everything. So there's a lot to do, and what do? You learn the name of the notes on the fretboard, and you also develop on that the chord. You learn the chord and the chord shape, the root of the chord, and then you locate, for example, this is C. Okay. So you actually use part of the fretboard that you rarely use. Okay. That's why I find tutorials with the chord shapes basic, or called, in guitar they're called cowboy chords. Quite stupid. No, you need, and I need, and everybody needs to work on chord shapes. And the voicing. In time you see the voicing, and you can even work on a chord shape that emphasize here the note of the melody. Knowing many chord shapes, you should decide the one that allows you to move your finger to get that note that is useful for the melody. Anyway, goodbye.